Hey everybody, and welcome to the Velogames podcast, where we're going to be taking a look at the Volta Communitat Valenciana, which is providing us all with a big headache because George has done a very good job of making this competition quite hard. If you haven't gone and checked out the Etoile de Bessèges video, be sure to go and do that as well after you've watched this one, because I think this is the harder of the two competitions. I think we can all agree on that. Let's just talk about the most expensive riders. Vlasov is 26 credits. Bilbao's 22. Hindley's 20. McNulty's 20. Of those four, McNulty and Vlasov have been, of course, doing the Mallorca challenge races, so we have some form guide as to guide us. Bilbao, barring saying their press release that he's aiming for a podium, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think that's, quite realistic, but we haven't seen him racing. What do you guys think about these pricings? Do you think, are you picking any of these riders? Are you picking none of them?
I hate the pricing for a start. It's really annoying.
Really
I think you're only going to be able to get one, maximum two of them. And if you have two of them, you're not having a sprinter. But Vlasov is, I think, on paper, he's the fastest of the finishers because that's what you're going to be relying on, because there's that punchy uphill finish. I'm not saying it will decide GC, but it will decide bonus seconds for GC. I don't like any of them. If you had to pick two, I think you should go Vlasov and McNulty because we've actually seen them recently. Yeah. But actually, I mean, you can just about see him there because it's quite a steep drop off in price. I actually, over all of them, I actually prefer Buitrago.
Do you?
Yeah, because there's no time trial. He's fast. I'd say he's faster than all of them, and he always goes well in the early season. Because it was Saudi Tour, I think last year or the year before, and then Valenciana or Ruta del Sol before that. So I think I'll have him in, and then probably at the moment I've got McNulty and Bilbao in addition to Buitrago, but I'm ready for Bora to hurt me.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've forgot that I skipped over all the stages, but I'll put them in anyway. But stage one's got this 7-8 kilometer 5% climb. Hard to tell what's going to happen there. Could, the gradient's not too steep. It could definitely be a sort of reduced sprint of puncher guys, which is why Dan's alluding to, the snappy finish of the GC guys is quite important here, because it could determine, who's leading GC on stage one, and then they hold that for another 2 or 3 days, maybe even more. And it's those, on such a short race of 5 stages, it's important to get those GC points in every single day. Yeah, Buitrago is one I haven't really considered, but yeah, I can appreciate that. I think Vlasov, going back to the top, I've got Vlasov in at the moment just because, do you remember like Paul Romandy, not last year, but the year before, when he was like third in a sprint, which Hayter won or something like that? Vlasov's
he became a sprinter, didn't he?
Yeah, Vlasov's actually quite fast, and I think, McNulty and him were the top guys in Mallorca, but I favour Vlasov just slightly, because I think on that stage 4, where it's the really steep gradients, I think that Vlasov is the better pick on the steeper stuff than McNulty.
The only thing that worries me is that both he and McNulty got beaten by Lennart van Eetvelt.
The true GOAT.
The absolute best sprinter of all time, of course. Yeah. With no sense of irony at all, or sarcasm. I mean, Vlasov is priced like a Vingegaard would be, and I guess you've got to view him as that. Yeah. As much as I think someone like it's important to have someone like Mohoric and Matthews, for the GC points early on, or Milan even, if he can hang on. Even though in the press release he said he's just going to find his legs and he's not setting himself any targets, which is annoying. Yeah. So I'm basically, if I have Milan, it's Milan and or a 6 punchery guy, and Vlasov. So I feel like I might be spreading myself too thin with Bilbao, McNulty, and Buitrago and ignoring Vlasov. But
yeah, what do you think, Pedro?
Well, for sure, Vlasov is my favorite rider here. So I think he has the right characteristics for this type of race, but I think he's just too expensive for me. Because I like to include Mohoric, Matthews, Bilbao. So it's hard. It's very hard to choose. But in the end, I think I'll just make an effort to fit Vlasov in, because I believe he's probably gonna be the highest scorer.
Yeah.
Unless Matthews or something is just like in godlike mode, which I don't believe in. But I think Vlasov. I like Bilbao, but I don't know if he is in the right form yet. Hindley, no way for me. McNulty, he looks good, but I think Bilbao can do better, and those 2 point difference. I'm tempted to go with Bilbao, but Vlasov and Bilbao doesn't seem possible.
It's hard
because honestly, I really want to fit in Matthews and Mohoric, and that's messing up my team for sure. It's just impossible to create a team that I'm satisfied with, so not easy.
It's I mean, looking at the stages, it's, when you think about it, stage 5, which has got about 5 km, 9% climb in the middle of it, it's got about 55 k's, something after that of slight downhill. That's the one which Rui Costa won last year to win the GC overall. I think he was only like 12 credits last year after doing well in the Mallorca Challenge races. So obviously there's a bit of a hint there that those riders do continue to do quite well. You know, if you're Vlasov and you win stage 4 and you win GC, that's 450 points. It's sort of, he needs to do more than just that one stage to be worthwhile. You know, if Matthews and Mohoric hold on for stage 1, they then are fine for stages 2 and 3, and maybe they come back on stage 5, then all of a sudden they're top 5 in 4 stages, like you say. And can you just go with Vlasov as like your one maybe GC, like big GC rider? Don't go with any of the other 4. By the way, I think you're right. Hindley, stay away from that. Like, if you're picking Hindley, you've absolutely lost the plot. Seriously, like, reconsider. It's not the Giro of like 2021 anymore, and he's not 10 credits. So yeah, I think you either kind of go Vlasov and kind of spread out, or a little bit, or Vlasov or Bilbao and spread out, which is kind of why I've ended up doing. But yeah, those 4 credits, those 4 expensive riders, I think we could talk about forever. But we'll move on to the 16 credit riders. We talked about Matthews and Mohoric a little bit. Sivakov is also 16 credits. Do you guys, obviously Pedro wants to get Matthews and Mohoric in there. Dan, do you have either of Mohoric or Matthews in your team?
I have only Matthews in terms of a versatile sprinter. But considering I haven't tinkered with this since I read Milan's press release, so I've sort of had to think about it counterintuitively, where I'm looking at who is going to survive on stage 1, and I don't think it's hard enough for Mohoric and Matthews to both get dropped. So I'm going to have to find a way of picking both of them and then pick a one GC person after that. I think Milan's cheap enough that I like him just as a punt, because I've got loads of 6s and 4s. but I think it makes a lot of sense to pick both Matthews and Mohoric.
Yeah, I think you're
If
right.
you can, anyway.
Yeah, if you can. I must admit, Bahrain and their press release do say, because there is Barati in this team as well, and they hint that he might be the sprinter,
What?
which
Didn't even know
throws
that.
a spanner into the works. It really does. But Mohoric
Didn't he
is
crash
also,
at one of the races recently?
he did the Tour Down Under, and he did more than bad.
Yeah, I don't
It-
even remember seeing him, but I know I'm pretty sure I
yeah.
saw him at the back of the peloton at some point.
Yeah, Mohoric is also this sort of maverick rider where he can really just do his own thing, I believe. And you
Whereas
know
the
that,
thing is, well, you look at the
Yeah.
downhills. There's two
Yeah.
stages that have they're not hard climbs, but they are descent finishes with very little afterwards.
yeah,
So that's the kind of thing
basically-
where Mohoric will go, someone will chase him, like, I don't know, some random person like Lozcano or yeah, one of
What
those
random
sort of climby classic sea boys will chase after him. Covey.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because it's another one of those really annoying ones where all the big teams have got multiple options.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 go away on a descent, and then
Yeah.
that's their 30 seconds of GC gap made. Yeah, it could be absolutely anybody. I mean, there's only one person who I haven't considered who is sort of a GC-ish person, and that's Kamna. That's purely because he doesn't really sprint.
yeah. He doesn't fit in really into my thinking, because I think that they're all in, like, Vlasov is the man. Vlasov's gonna win. That's, I think, Bora's plan. I think that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's also a very different race from last year, because last year there were lots of hard stages and uphill finishes. So you had the whole likes of Ciccone and Teo Gegenhardt and Rui Costa and loads of other names I'm forgetting. And they were all, it was basically who was the best sprinter at the end of the day. Whereas this race feels like there's sort of 2 or 3 intermediate stages for Matthews and Mohoric to warm up for the classics.
Yeah.
And then there's like one GC day, and then that's going to decide. Because I can't see it happening like last year where the final stage is such a long way to the finish, like unless all the GC guys are in one group. Because I mean, sorry, you can see Bahrain and UAE smashing that climb, both climbs, and then but then Mohoric is winning the stage. So do UAE want that? So
yeah, exactly.
Matthews will be in there as well, because he doesn't really get drops on those climbs.
Or he'll come back.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be complete luck, honestly. Like fair play if you win Valenciana, but it's going to be complete luck.
Yeah,
I believe Mohoric is gonna try to do what Rui Costa did last year. It wouldn't surprise me, and I think he'll be close. I mean, he'll be too close, I believe, to have that kind of freedom, but he's gonna try it. He's kind of
I'm not sure he's got the climbing for. I'm just gonna check if it's stage 4. Yeah, stage 4 is pretty. Even that last bit is like really steep. Not really steep. It's just a punchy ramp to the finish, and he doesn't tend to do well on those. I see that more for like Butrago or Bilbao.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of Butrago,
I don't know. Maybe he gets enough extra seconds from the previous. And he manages to stay like 15, 20 seconds away from them, and he'll have a shot in the last stage. I believe if he's close enough, he's gonna try it. If not, he's gonna try to win the stage. So
yeah, it's so tricky, because the GC riders really need certain stages to go their way. That isn't like, they'll get stage 4, but they really need another stage to go their way to be worthwhile. So I'm so apprehensive of stacking up on GC riders that are expensive. But speaking of which, I guess we'll look at some sort of mid-level GC riders. Like you say, Butrago, I think, is a good one. I haven't really considered him, but Dan's sort of persuaded me as we've gone through that he is pretty snappy, and he is a co-leader alongside Bilbao, so I do like that. You got if you're picking Lozcano at 12, also what's going on there? Please don't pick Lascano at 12.
Find the money for Mohoric.
Yeah, please do. Milan, even if he is finding his legs, he'll probably still contest stage 2 and 3, I'd say. So Milan's not bad. Rubio was bad at the Colombian national champs, which is already just a red flag to me because that was won by a continental level rider. So like, if you're coming 9th there, I doubt you're going to do particularly great here. What about Jaco? They've got Dunbar and Filippo Zana here. Are either of those two on your guys' radar?
Well,
Because of how expensive. Sorry, go on, Pedro.
Yeah, they weren't, but after Rubio's performance, I switched and chose Ghana instead. I had Rubio. I think Zana it's a good choice. Yeah, it's a good pick, I guess. I'm not too sure about him, but I believe he can do something. Other than Zana, all the other 12 pointers, I just don't see it. Apart from Milan, of course, but he's a different kind of rider, So I believe it's Zana for me.
Because they're just you've got to fit so many expensive guys in that neither Dunbar or Zana are winning a stage. Sorry to break it to them. And they're not punchy particularly. Well, I mean, Zana can be uphill. He can be punchy. So I could of both of them, I prefer Zana. But for 12, it's just too expensive. Like you've got Zana and Milan at the same price, and I can see Milan having way more opportunity to win or do well in stages than those two.
The problem really comes in that, like we've been saying, is that yes, the GC guys will get stage 4. Okay, Dunbar or Zana finish somewhere between 5th and 10th. Let's say, whatever. Best case scenario, that's like 60 points if you're finishing towards the upper end of that. Then overall GC, you get 150, so they're on about 200 points there. They need to get away with the big dogs on like a stage 1 or a stage 5. Are they good enough to do that? Probably not, because if Vlasov puts the hammer down, are they going with that? Probably not. So they're going to end up probably then getting swallowed up by the peloton and finishing 63rd. So they're in a weird no man's land. I must admit, I do have Dunbar in my team, but I'm very much reconsidering this. I think I've just got the Giro still in my mind from last year. But some other 10 credit riders that I'm a big fan of. Alois, I'm a big fan of. I think that he is going to be slept on by people, but he is good at, he was decent at the Volta, and in this field of sprinters, he's God, basically.
Well, it's basically a classic Vuelta sprint field, isn't it? You've got one massive sprinter with Milan, and you've got a couple of sort of around top tier underneath that with because Mohoric can sprint and Matthews, and then you've got all these guys underneath. I've filled up my team. I've got 4 big riders, and I've just filled the rest of it up with continental sprinters.
Yes, it's not even about
honestly. I could pick about 20 of them that could come top 10 in a sprint and a reduced finish. So
they might just
all of our looks fantastic
randomly. I agree. I just like Alois. I think that he is, ever since I remember I pointed him out as a 4 credit rider in Basque Country maybe 2 years ago, and he got 150 points, and I love this man ever since.
He is a bit hot and cold though.
He is hot and cold, but is he?
When he's hot, he's top 5, and when he's cold, he's nowhere to be seen.
It's is he going to top 5 stages 2 and 3, and is he maybe going to snatch another top 10 on either stage 1 or stage 5? I reckon he could do.
I think 10 is a tiny bit expensive though, potentially.
It is a little bit.
Because it's again, I'm going back to this, only so much less than that person. But Milan being 12, if Ola was 8 or 6, I'd probably definitely have him in, but not 10 for me. I do like him. I do think he'll do well. It's not going to get in.
I have Holar in my team. But there's some other rider, a 10-pointer, that I wanted to ask you. What's your opinion on him? it's Pelayo Sanchez from Movistar. He did quite well. He won a race this week, I believe. He seemed to have a little bit of a punch because he beat, I believe, Meerhofer, I guess. And it was a pretty hilly parkour too. So I was intrigued by it. And he beat Blazov too. So he might be an okay pick. At 10, I'm not sure, but he might be an okay pick.
Yeah, I think that he could definitely be kind of 5th to 10th in the sprints is where I sort of see him being. I think again he's kind of, for me, he's like Alois, except that Alois probably a little bit faster in a flat sprint. But I still think that Sanchez has his place. I mean, the person who I think, the one which Sanchez did win, the person who might have won that day was Igor Arieta of UAE, but he crashed. But he got up very quickly. I think he's fine. But he was going down that. He got dropped by Van Eytveld, and then he came back on the descent. So this guy can descend pretty fast. So is he going to be the crazy guy who goes off with Mohoric on some stage 3 thing? Rides for UAE, so he's going to get assist points. And UAE, considering they have McNulty, Sivakov, I think that Arietta could be third man. And all it takes is a couple of things to go correct, and maybe he could be one. So I don't know. It's just another one for the young gun kind of, optimistic pick.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea what to expect from him because I hadn't heard of him until the Mallorca races. So I think he's on the team because his dad is the DS Arietta from Movistar that UAE have poached, I think.
Oh, wow.
If I've listened to Lantern Rouge properly. So he's clearly, good enough because UAE have signed him.
It's just nepotism.
Well, yes, there is that. But honestly, if Covey's always the one that, like, Covey's cheaper and Covey's faster, I think.
Yeah.
Saying that, I don't even know what Arietta is really because I haven't seen much of him. But
yeah.
Well,
speaking of which, let's move on to the 8 credit riders. There is Covey, Aliotti, Johan Boo. Who do you guys? There's some other ones. Intermarché, Arne Marit, or Mike Turnison. Who do you reckon? You reckon Marit? But is he making?
Marit was really good at the end of one of the Grand Tours last year. I think it was the Giro. I think there was one he had a positioning problem and he was really upset because he was feeling really good. I think Turnison is definitely taking on this sort of lead out role like he had at Jumbo, and Marit's kind of this a bit not faster but a bit more, has more endurance than Girmay.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think Arne Marit is kind of the archetypal reduced classics bunch sprinter. Well, he's the classic Belgian sprinter. I just think he's come up from a lower level. I mean, I've got 2 Intermarché sprinters at the moment because again, I don't know which one they're going to go with.
Oh, wow.
So I've got Breit. Is it Breit?
Yeah,
Vito Breit at 6 because he's also a young sprinter. So I just thought, well, I've got enough room for all these 6 credit sprinters, so why not have a punt on him?
Yeah. Pedro, do you like any of the 8 credit riders?
I like the Intermarché guys, but I read this week that Boy Van Poppel was gonna be his lead out this year. They asked him to be his lead out to help him grow. So Van Poppel is not here, I guess. So I believe he's gonna be doing the lead out for Tennyson. Yeah. So I think I would go with probably, I don't know, 8 pointers are not really.
It's just
really appealing to me. So
it's just going to be picking who comes in the top 5 to 15 in these bunch finishes, isn't it? So I think honestly, any of Intermarché have annoyingly got like 4 or 5 fast finishes. They've got Breit, Marit. Well, I mean, they're not current sprinters, but they were sort of classic men. You got Petty and Plancart and Tillison, and then you got sort of May and Boy Van Poppel as their sort of experienced guys. So it's just pick one if you want and hope that he's the sprinter.
I'd say of all the 8 credit riders, probably Marriott. I think Covey's a risk, but he can sometimes pay off. I think he did, So I think the 8s are just a weird bracket. But 6 credit riders there. Let's face it, people are going to need some 6 credit riders in their teams because of how expensive the GC riders are at the top. Dan, who's your favorite 6 credit riders? Dan, who's your favorite 6 credit riders? I'm sure you probably have a handful that you like.
Well, the ones that are in my team at the moment, I've got Mikel Bizcarra from Euskadi. I've got Manuel Penalva or Peñalva from Ometa, because he was pretty fast. I think he was on Burgos last year, and I think he won, or the year before that, won races. Kolnagi at Bardiani. He came,
like that.
I want to say 4th or 5th behind the Quickstep boys at one of the Spanish races this week. Who's my last one? Oh no, I've got Vito Brait, and then I'm currently trying to find a 4 for my last one because I've got that Greek sprinter Buglas from Burgos at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's loads more of 6s, but I've just tried to find the hipster, the hipster continental ones.
Yeah. Pedro, do you have any other 6s?
Not really. I don't have any 6-point rider in my team right now. But I just want to say that I said Boy Van Poppel wasn't here. He is, but I don't believe it's gonna be for Marit. So I'm not sure. It's not that I don't like any of the riders. It's just that my budget doesn't allow me a 6 credit rider right now. So I'm gonna stick with 2 4 credit riders. So, but yeah, Grant had some great picks there. He pointed out some great riders. I'm just checking. I believe I saw here. Let me check. Callum Scottson. Maybe if I had to go with one of them, maybe for the assist points for Matthews, because I think it's the long shot on the 6 credit riders. So I would go probably with Callum Scottson. You guys know how I feel about the assist points. Like assist points, so I'll go with Callum Scottson.
Okay. I'll point. I agree with all Dan's picks. Just semi whatever C tier sprinters are a pretty decent pick for this race. There is Barati, who I was talking about earlier, who Bahrain allude might be their sprinter. So you could go with Mohoric and Barati and cover both of them for 6 credits. You're probably going to end up getting assist points anyway through Bilbao and Mohoric and stuff, and so he's not bad. There are some other ones. I mean, you could go Jan Kristen for the assist points on UAE riders. I agree. I like Kolnagi. I know there is Fiorelli and there's also Zoccarato, but based upon the Mallorca Challenge races, they've had this same lineup as they're going into this race with, and Kolnagi has been the sprinter. So I have faith that he will probably be the sprinter this time round around as well, not Fiorelli.
Yeah, I feel like Fiorelli's more of a sort of a climby sprinter at the end after a few. I know there are climbs in this, but Kolnagi, I think, is their guy.
Another one I want to point out is Giovanni Lonardi of Team Polti Cometa. I mean, Tour of Turkey last year, he was 3rd in some of those sprints behind Philipsen and Case Ball and stuff. So this guy's quite fast for Polti Cometa, and he can climb relatively well too. So I think that he's a good one to be looking out for as well. And you could go with GC guys like Sam Oman or Piganzoli, Javier Romo and stuff. But as we've been saying, or James Whelan maybe, like that's another cool one. But like we've been alluding to, is it worthwhile putting on this GC rider who's going to finish 12th on that one stage 4 finish, whatever, 15th in GC, and not really even hit 100 points? Or is it more worthwhile risking it on some sprinters who may contest 3 or 4 stages? It's probably more worthwhile going with the sprinters. But I think that's it for the 6 credit riders. Pedro, you've got some 4 credit riders. Who are your favorite ones?
Honestly, I'm going all in with the big guys. Have the highest scorers. So I'm not too sure about my 4 pointers. Right now, I had some World Tour guys for the assist points also. I believe I had Blancard, and I had, let me check who it was. It was, sorry, my internet connection is low. The Bora guy, Hajek. I believe he's going to score some good points because of Lazov. So I think I'm going to go with these 2. I'm not going to try anything too crazy on the 4 pointers. I'm just going to stick with the World Tour guys for the assist points. I think that's it. I'm not expecting much from the 4 pointers, honestly.
Okay. What about you, Dan? Are you in agreement that Hayek for Bora is probably the safest?
Yeah, I've only just seen him, and I didn't realise that we actually had a World Tour Domestique in 4, so I'm nabbing him. Because I've just rearranged my team, and I've got Vlasov in, so he's going to be in there for assist points, if nothing else. There's only one that's actually got, there's only one more that I've seen that's got a decent result recently, and that's Angulo at Burgos, who was 18th at Trofeo Palma. So, again, most of these guys I haven't heard of, in the nicest possible way. But I mean, Angulo, if you're coming 18th at Palma, you're doing okay. So, I mean, breakaways, potentially top 20 in a sprint, It's between him and Hayek to score the least points.
I think that Hayek for Bora, I think that Bora could probably win Team GC with Vlasov, Aliotti, Hindley, Wandal,
Lipowitz.
Lipovitz. Like, they've got a really strong team. They'll either come first or second in Team GC, so that's 20 points. The assists on Vlasov, and like him being in the leadership, like you could be going towards 50 points or something, which isn't a lot, but it's better than 0. And I think that they're quite, I don't want to say guaranteed, but they're the safest ones that you're going to get of the 4 credit riders. I completely agree with that. But now we'll take a look at my team. This is what I've got. As we've gone through, I'm very, very ready to change this team. But I've gone with like Vlasov in here. I think I want to try and get. I would like to try and get Mohoric in. Maybe I'll take off like Dunbar for one of the 6 credit riders that we've been talking about, like Barati or something like that. It does leave me very thin on the ground for GC, like pretty much solely Vlasov, and also a bit of a gamble on Arietta. But based upon how we've been talking, I'm going quite in on the sprinter types, hopefully holding up for stage 1, and then just saying that Vlasov's going to win, and therefore everybody else just doesn't matter to me GC wise. And maybe Arietta just pulls an absolute Del Toro on me and just does really well. I don't know. The way that he was riding the other day just appeased to me. But who's on your guys' teams? Dan, we'll start with you. Who's in your 9 at the moment? Obviously, subject to change. And it changed in this episode, so.
I mean, I've literally been remaking it as we've been doing this episode. I thought, why on earth is Zana in my team? Don't know how that happened, honestly. So I've got Vlasov, Betrago, Matthews, Mohoric, Vizcara, Lonardi, Kolnagi, Brait, and Hayek. And I honestly don't see that changing, because I think you've got all the 6s you need in there. Matthews and Mohoric, I think, are going to be contesting GC for the first couple of days. Actually, well, Milan might upset. Actually, no, Milan probably will upset that, but I'm prepared to let him go for Mohoric being more versatile. And then I just think Petrago and Vlasov are both the best sprinters in the GC. So
Yeah, I think that's really good. Like, I guess we're very similar. Like, all I would have to do to basically have that is to swap Alwar and Arietta for bump one of those up to Boitrago and swap the other one down for a 6th. And we pretty much have the same team. I think that's a really strong formula.
Yeah.
Pedro, who's on your 9-man list at the moment?
Right now, I have some serious thinking to do. Thanks to you guys.
As we do, what we all do.
Logged in, I have Vlasov, Matthews, Mohoric, Plancard, and Hajek. The rest of them is they're just there to fill the spots. I'm thinking about Milan, but I don't think I'll have enough credits to fit him in. So yeah, that's the core of my team. The rest it's just gonna be, I don't know, it's really hard to pick this team.
Yeah.
I thought I had a team when we started. I don't have a team right now. Yeah, I have some thoughts, some picks, some, I don't know. Yeah, but that's the core of my team. Obviously, Vlasov, Matthews, Mohoric, Hajek, and probably I'll stick with Aular.
Let us know in the comments down below if you're still watching, of course. The nice long format videos are of course set to stay, because we do like talking about Velogames. So let us know in the comments down below what you're thinking in terms of your teams, and also go and check out the Etoile de Bessèges video if you haven't done so already, because that one will also be up today as well. And yeah, all I have to say is to stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.